Hello and welcome to Master Manual, a practical guide for DMs, GMs, and just wanna BMs, as well as other folks. This is a podcast where we talk about and answer questions regarding Dungeons & Dragons and other role-playing games, like the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons, from a DM's perspective. I don't read it anymore. I just do it off of memory, and you can see that 35% still in the mire. I'm Spencer Crittenden, sitting here coming to you live with my buddy.
Hey, I'm Cohen Edenfield.
Oh yeah, we are, and this is, and we're gonna.
And we're recording on a Saturday morning. We typically record on Tuesday nights.
On a cheery, I want to say it's Tuesday. And not even Tuesday. I want to say it's Tuesday. A cheery Tuesday morning. But no, it's Saturday.
It's Saturday morning. So if we're coming to you with a different energy, now you know why.
Mm-hmm. It's a morning vibe.
Yeah, we had a busy week.
MM in the AM.
Mm-hmm.
MM in the PM.
And I did a BM.
BM's in the PM. AM's in the DMs.
I pooped before the show.
It goes down in the BMs.
So how's your week been? What have you been up to?
I don't know. I think a couple days we didn't work because it was the new year.
Uh-huh.
And then I went back to work, and I was just kind of running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Harmon Quest isn't back from work yet, so I was just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I got some stuff done. I don't know. What about you?
I was at work, but there wasn't a lot to do.
Yeah.
So I was taking it a little easy.
Mm-hmm.
I've been enjoying the television program Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which I've never really watched any Star Trek, but I'm into this. I think one of the reasons I'm into it is they don't jet set around in their little ship going from place to place.
Mm-hmm.
They're in one location, which for me elevates the stakes.
Right.
Because like that place matters in a way that a ship doesn't, I guess, because it's like I care what happens because like they're at a fixed point. And also I like the characters, and they seem to be invested in having those relationships evolve over time, kind of gradually, which I like.
I hate Star Trek, and anyone that likes it is bad people.
Fair enough.
Ah ha 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 ha.
There's a shapeshifter. He's fun. He's the detective.
He's a constable.
Yeah. That's what they call him. He talks like this, and he has trouble connecting with humanoids.
Even when he shifts shape?
He doesn't do that as much as you would expect. He did it earlier on, but now it's part of his thing. It seems to be that he doesn't like to do that very much, which I know that if I had to manage a special effects budget, I would recommend that my shapeshifter character also started to develop that trait.
But you shift shapes into real people.
And no, he's never done that so far. It might happen later.
Well, I get why people don't like this series.
No, it's fun. He's cool. And
I'm sure he's cool for other reasons than being a shapeshifter.
Yeah, actually,
entirely.
yes. Yeah, it's all personality. It's interesting. I don't care about the shapeshifter stuff as much, except that it informs his personality.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about the show, is that like people have these like fantastical things, but it is mostly they are things that drive their character as opposed to the plot. And I like that. Yeah.
Now, I heard a rumor that you might have played Dungeons & Dragons as a player?
Yes, last night.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I mentioned last time that last time we had played, it was a combat light political machinations thing.
Combat light, but politics heavy, right?
Yeah, in fact, combat free.
And your DM is a Zionist, right?
No, he's not.
Right?
No,
is he a Zionist?
No, he's not. Stop it! I don't like this. But it was neat because so the undersea city of Atlanta was being attacked by some sort of giant beast. And also a bunch of merfolk, and it's a beast on the scale of something we couldn't fight because there's like tentacles sweeping in from a dark cloud and knocking over whole buildings. But the city apparently has some kind of defense in these 3 towers. The defense was built because it's a place. Their previous undersea city was destroyed when a star fell. So they built another one, but with a defense system like these 3 towers, they could like knock back a star if it were to fall, but we have to re-angle the dishes of these towers at the creature, and maybe this will work. So we have 3 different towers we have to go to, fight our way up, and so we got through one of those last night.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was good fights. Rich is good. He adapts to what we do a lot, which is fun. Because we often we had 2 fights, and in the first one, both of our rogues and me, the spellcaster, were hanging back and shooting at this water elemental and doing our stuff, and basically not really in a lot of danger. And the next one, we're doing that as we typically do, and a spellcaster comes out and casts Hunger of Hadar at us.
Oh no!
So we have to
hate to see that happen.
We immediately have to deal with that.
So for the folks at home.
Hunger of Hadar is it's a sphere that basically opens up a gate to the space between stars, and there is it's dark and you're taking cold damage, and it's difficult terrain because there's milky white gross tentacles that you got to get away from.
Oh no.
And this was underwater, so what was neat is I swam straight up. And that was represented by, I took the little Chessex dice tower, the little dice box that they come in.
Yeah.
I turned it upside down and put my figurine on top of it.
Because it's clear.
Yeah. So if you ever need to represent quickly that somebody is in the air, may I recommend the little Chessex dice box. Big fan.
Would be good.
Yeah. Or maybe put them on a couple of D6s.
I wonder... So did you get to the second tower?
No, we got at the end of the night. We got to the first tower, and we did the thing and re-angled it. My suspicion is, well, he told us last time. He's like, okay, next time we're going to get through both.
Okay, so next time we may find out what the other 2 towers hold.
Yeah, it's neat because they're the 3 political arms of this city. One is they're the I can't remember what they're called, the Ministry or Tower or how. Oh yeah, it's the House of Truth, House of Secrets, House of War, and House of something else. But basically, they're defense, espionage / diplomacy, and maintaining the city, civics. So there's a reason that they are these 3 things in universe. There's a reason that these buildings exist, and it's not just that they have these defense things on them that we got to fight through. I always like that. Is when something works well as a set piece, but also has, before it becomes a set piece, you think of it as something, you get used to it as something else.
Yeah, that's one of my least favorite things in one of the big ludo narrative dissonances of D&D is that the dungeons you're exploring seem to exist to be explored and have secret doors and rooms that exist to be hidden and then found so that you can find secret passageways and or treasure to reward you for going through the dungeon. And a lot of times, even when they try to make sense of that, and they do spend lip service in the stuff saying oh, this room used to be a thing, which is why it's full of bones. This room used to be a different thing, which is why it's also full of bones. And it's just everything's full of debris and bones. And so the end result is it just feels like a dungeon. And having things be either living, breathing, or having echoes of living, breathing activity, I think is a cool.
I think I've talked before about it was one of the first mega dungeons I've ever done, or maybe it was just a really big dungeon. I don't know if it quite qualified as a mega dungeon, but it was in my previous campaign that I played in. It was this dwarven temple that was carved out of this huge block of green marble that had appeared magically from the plane of the plane of Earth, I think.
Elemental plane of Earth?
Yeah, elemental plane of Earth. And it was carved into it. So the entire temple, everything in the temple was just carved out of this single huge piece of marble. But it was the 12 different dwarven gods. And so each one of them was but they had reasons. It wasn't just here's a room with traps.
Right.
It was here's this was the temple. This was the part of the temple that was for this god. So it has armor. This is where they made these things, and so we're fighting things, but there's anvils and that we can try to throw at somebody, or there's a like there's like a forge. You can try to shove a bad guy in or whatever.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It is good.
Yeah. Furnace, not a forge. A furnace.
Oh, yeah. Well, yep, that's all the D&D stuff that we've experienced lately, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I got a correction or an omission or whatever. Last week we...
a correction for an omission.
A correction for omission. We talked about, someone had a question about the Cthulhu mythos and how to make kind of Lovecraftian horrific campaign choices and stuff like that. And it turns out that there's a book about it,
Yeah?
It's called Cthulhu Mythos for 5e, I think.
Oh, well, that's well named.
Anyway, the book is called Sandy Peterson's Cthulhu Mythos for 5e. It's on Kickstarter.
Good on you, Sandy.
Good on you, Sandy. You done good. 230,000 out of 10,000 goal pledged. So
wow, you really
knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, and
from a capitalist standpoint.
I hope that your overwhelming success on Kickstarter did not translate to incredible difficulty because of the economies of scale when applied to publishing.
No, hopefully that's one of the few industries that has, pathways for small people. But anyway, who knows?
All right.
If not, you can always go with Potty, huh?
Yeah. You can always go with Make That Thing. They have great Kickstarter fulfillment services. So if you're a Kickstarter person who's succeeded and perhaps gotten in over your head, reach out to Make That Thing. Maybe they can help you out.
And as always, Master Manual is sponsored by Make That Thing, a subsidiary of Potty.
It is sponsored by in the sense that I have friends who are there.
Yeah, and they sponsor us.
They don't.
They do.
Stop. We're never going to get real sponsorships.
I don't think you understand how sponsorship works.
I think post hoc ergo pro quo.
Yeah.
There we go.
It'll get us in the, it's called foot in the door. We're already advertising. You want to throw us a buck? Throw us some change?
I think this is more like milk for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You want to give me some change for that milk? It's nice, huh? It tastes good.
Tastes good. You already drank it.
Yeah, you
want
like
to pay
it.
me?
Yeah.
No?
Throw some change. Throw some change.
What if I give you some more milk? Do you feel bad yet?
Make that thing. Anyway, you want to crack into UCB&D?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Is that what it's called?
Uh-huh.
It's not called UCD&D, huh?
It's called UCB&D.
All right. Number 6. Establish the location. Good scenes take place somewhere and at some time. They do not take place on an empty stage. A location can easily be established in 1 or 2 lines without breaking the scene. So for me, my immediate thought is just like, it's really easy to gloss over the description of an area and not give players a lot to dig in on. And then they're kind of like asking questions about what's going on that don't make sense to you. And that's like evidence that they don't understand the scene you've set.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you could spend way too much time describing a scene and give people the wrong impression. So I like that it says like, 1 or 2 lines can do great and not break immersion, but actually be really valuable. And so that's like, I don't know, it indicates there's a kind of a Goldilocks zone for description.
Yeah, I would say overwrite, and then if you're worried about doing this, write too much and then pare it down.
Right.
Is I mean, that's just good writing advice, but this is something I still struggle with a little bit, setting scenes, because I tend to. I always want to like throw in a couple of little details to really enrich it, but then those become, the only things. It's like, oh, and there are heavy damask curtains covering every window, and they're like, oh, what's up with these curtains?
Right, exactly.
Are they valuable? Can we take the curtains? Is there something happening behind the curtains? Mm-hmm. Is there a secret message woven into the threads of every curtain?
Yes. What are the materials forming this curtain and all curtains?
You wouldn't have mentioned the curtains unless it was important.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, if somebody described curtains like that, I would think we were going to fight a vampire later and had to cut the curtains.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's part of like you're designing something as a game designer, and they're like, "Oh, I'm playing with it." And you're like, "No, don't," but you put it there.
That's the thing about working in a narrative space that is being communicated verbally. You got economies of description.
Economies of description. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that maybe you wanna give them options that are in the directions you want to lead them. And then if they have other questions, then you kind of build it out from there rather than give a lot of description about everything up top. I don't know. And also in my experience, I feel like people cut you off before you finish describing. And then so it's like the stuff you want to just give atmosphere that doesn't really describe anything. That's all they get. And you're like, what? So that's another like mark in the corner of, I think you just want to cut to the bare necessities of what is like emotionally important or whatever, relevant to the game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Start with entrances and exits and main things.
Mm-hmm. Who knows?
A little map can help too.
Right. I think that like it really speaks to the importance of a map in this situation. If you have a map that has little like shapes and symbols that represent things that can get a conversation started, but not elaborate all the secrets that you're hiding, I think that really gets everyone on the same page in a better way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maps, man.
It turns out all improv needed to be better was maps.
Yeah. I mean, what that really speaks to is props.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't improv people just have like sets and props and stuff? Maybe some costumes.
Like wardrobes.
Yeah. Like maybe, in fact, they should write it down. They should write down their stuff beforehand.
Right.
Maybe like memorize it.
And then they could prearrange to have the things they need delivered or paid for.
Yeah. And they need somebody, they need somebody.
Maybe a lot of people.
Yeah. And somebody like in charge who's like telling them how to do the things.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be kind of expensive. You might want to form companies that could fund such enterprises.
Yeah. And I mean, at that point, you really just should record them,
Yeah.
so that more people can enjoy them.
Or just use maps and play D&D, I guess.
Yeah. There you go.
Anyway, we forgot. Well, we could leave that to the end, maybe. I don't know. We got an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Right between us.
Spencer bought a baby elephant.
Mm-hmm.
He's been using all that sponsorship money, and he's really wanting to get into the ivory trade.
Oh yeah, this baby's
going
to pay off.
Elephant himself, which I feel like is not gonna. They only grow the tusks once.
Oh yeah, no, not the way I'm doing it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, meal ticket. That's what I call him.
That's what you call this little baby elephant.
He's loving it, having a great time.
Yeah.
Meal ticket manual.
We have a box, but a gift from someone, but we're not going to open it until the end, I guess.
Yeah. Do you want to open it now? Let's open it now.
Let's make them stick around.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to stick around and see, oh man, this box, it's exciting. It could store all manner of things with these sizes and dimensions. Who even knows?
Should we play Helga Cruciform?
Okay. Let's do it.
All right. Boxy Brown.
Brackwater Bilges.
Shingles O'Houlihan.
Metal Rex.
Metal Rex?
That sounds like a Metal Gear Solid character.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Yep.
Guilty Gray.
Heavy Steam.
Yola Tango.
Harold the Wise Punched.
Alexandria Ocasio Cortex.
Oh, shit. That's like a evil male version?
No, she's just... she's.
Oh, I thought you said Alexandria.
I said Alexandria Ocasio Cortex.
Yeah, I thought you said Alexandrio, which isn't a real name.
No, it could be. I guess names. That's how we got
Alexandrio Loquatio.
The male.
Cortex.
I'm gonna break something to you. The male version of the name Alexandria is Alexander.
I said that to you.
When?
Just now, before you just said you started laughing about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Helga Crucible is canceled. No.
Oh,
what's next?
Helga Cruciform.
Oh, wait. I think we might have done that one. Stancho Polaris.
I've definitely heard that one. For sure. Have you been sneaking that one in every time?
That would be amazing. I should do that. I should keep trying.
That would be a long-term burn on me for not paying attention.
No, that was only a couple episodes ago.
Double phones.
Very. Oh, was there more?
I was going to say double phones, the ever ready.
Fairy flies, the flying fairy. That's good. I'm good at this.
Magnesia. The attractive.
Magnesio. Just like Magneto, but with a J.
Yeah. Magnesio.
Magnesio.
He controls he can generate magnetic
Milk of
fields,
magnesia.
but only northern polarized.
But he breathes milk of magnesia.
Do you ever see the movie North?
No.
It was bad. It's about a kid who wants to get adopted.
Oh, it was a movie.
Because he's like a very good kid. He's like such a good kid. But he already has parents, but he's like, these parents aren't good enough for me because they don't pay attention. I'm going to go around the country and find somebody who wants to raise me. And so it's basically a bunch of people who are like, can we be your parents? And then at the end, he realizes his own parents were good enough all along. Nobody liked it.
Yeah,
because
it sounds bad.
It's about a kid who already has parents and is just so good.
Right. He does.
It's not a sympathetic protagonist.
He doesn't have problems.
Yeah. All right. You want to get?
I forgot about Helga Cruciform.
Yeah. You want to get some questions?
Yeah. What's the first question?
Oh, yeah. The first question's right here. I've got it pulled up on my phone.
And if you have a question, you could submit it. mastermanualpod@gmail.com. We also have a Discord. People can ask questions in the Discord, but we don't get to those as often, so we ask people to do the email.
Yeah. What's up, Cohen and Spencer? Great podcast. Love
Not
the show.
much. What's up with you?
I hope to hear, here's some nice phrase. I hope to hear and see much more from you guys.
Okay.
My question is this. How would you handle playing through a well-known campaign module? Some of the old school modules out there are so cool and interesting. That's exactly why they're classics and why everybody knows about them now. What should I do if I want to run a badass classic like Tomb of Horrors or Sunless Citadel? How would you guys keep it new and surprising for your players if you were concerned they had read these modules before on their own?
So, who sent that question? Someone
the
anonymous?
Iron Corpse. Assigned to the Iron Corpse.
Damn, that's hard corpse.
How ironic.
So, let me just say, what gall. How dare you come into my house being like a humble bragging corpse of iron, saying like, my players, they're so good that they've played so much that they know the stuff that's already out there and might be bored by it.
Yeah.
Is that actually like, so is that a real concern? And
it's certainly a real this person is concerned.
Let's wait for his answer to resume the podcast. Is this a real concern for you, or are you just saying, is someone like, oh yeah, I was playing Sunless Citadel the other day? We'll wait. We won't.
Okay.
But like, because I mean, I guess that I can see that happening hypothetically to hypothetical people, but the idea that that's a real issue that is holding people back, and there's people that are like, ugh, Sunless Citadel again. That to me is hard to stomach. But I will for the purposes of answering the question. What about you?
How magnanimous of you.
Oh yeah, I'm a hero.
A prince. to take this question at face value.
I'm really going out on a limb here.
I think that as usual, I think this is the first answer would be to talk to your players, because you can find out if they've played these modules before, and if they have, I would recommend playing a different one. But if they haven't. If they have, and you have a whole party who has played, or several people in the party who have played, Tomb of Annihilation or Tomb of Horrors, and for whatever reason want to play it again, just change up the traps. If it's a trap-driven one.
That's the thing, is that I get where you're coming from, but the actual problem that's being presented is hard to diagnose depending on your specific circumstances.
Yeah.
Because they might have played it and not remember it at all, or not remember it enough for it to matter at all.
They might not have finished it.
Right.
Also, don't mistake familiarity with, especially name recognition. I feel like a lot of people know what the Tomb of Horrors is, but may not have gotten through it or ever even played it. You can also, oh God, you know what would be cool?
What?
Would be if you're doing, let's say you're doing Tomb of Horrors, right? You're playing this, somebody's running it. You've played it before. You're this hypothetical old hand at the Tomb of Horrors, a horror head. If you
don't even have to wait. You're blasting into the corners. The monsters are going to spawn.
There's a sphere of annihilation in that mouth, and you don't go anywhere near that statue's mouth.
Oh yeah.
So what you do is, what's this? It's not Zargax or whatever. I can't remember.
It's not?
It's somebody entirely different, because
who is it?
I don't know. It's a mind flayer.
Oh fuck.
Or maybe there's maybe there's maybe Strahd is in the Tomb of Horrors.
Okay.
And now like they get a few rooms in, but things start going all different, and you've remixed it. You've maybe like a different thematically resonant monster who's famous in D&D has taken over. What if Mordekian is down there? What if he's down there?
Yeah.
What is he? No, Xanathar. What if Xanathar is in the Tomb of Horrors?
Oh no,
that would be fun.
You hate to see that happen.
And I guess he doesn't leave Waterdeep a lot, ever.
Well,
but what if
who's to question him? Honestly,
not me. That guy is a dick.
But yeah, I think that's the real answer. Is that if you communicate with your players and you find that there is a problem rerunning the dungeon as is, then you would go through and start to tweak it in the ways you can. I don't think you have to tweak it a lot. I think you can start with some of the monsters and move to some of the obstacles. But you could rearrange things, reorder things, reskin things. You just change out the traps, like you said. I think that a lot of the modules I've read, a lot of the dungeon rooms seem fairly interchangeable when they're rooms that have interactions like, oh, there's a glass orb and it drives you mad and it makes you start screaming. It's like that can go in this room, but if you put it in this other room, it doesn't fucking matter. So like even just moving things around, putting like this trap there and that trap there without introducing new things, I think will solve the problem that you're worried about. Isn't
that what is Tomb of Annihilation a thing?
I think so.
Isn't that just a chopped and screwed Tomb of Horrors?
I think Tomb of Annihilation is different, but I'm not sure. I'm bad at this. If you know, do hashtag Curse of Scary, which I haven't looked at, by the way.
Literally one person when I checked.
Better than I expected.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And it wasn't you.
I wish I could have shouted you out. Maybe we'll do that on the next corrections and missions.
Yeah, we'll do it. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Any last thoughts?
We're great.
Well, yeah, just
good podcast.
What if you just? I like the Curse of Strahd idea the best because even if it's the same exact dungeon, everything is the same. If you put like a Belloc character in there doing some other shit, it just completely changes the game completely. Yeah. So you just determine what you want that monkey wrench to be and then throw it.
Because there could be, he's maybe. You go in and there's the classic monsters they're expecting, but they're fighting some vampire spawn. Yeah. And now it's a totally different fight. Mm-hmm. Or some mind flayers because there's a mind flayer brain monster at the end. It's good stuff. Yeah. Or you know what? Another party of adventurers is there. They're running it because it's so popular and you're doing a meta joke about that.
Classic
and
trope.
That party of adventurers is, acrimonious to your players' intents.
Okay, so you talk to your players, and then when they're like, oh, I did this one before, you go, tell me everything. And then you make their party like a time trials ghost of that. And then they're like, oh, shit, what's going on? These people are so good, and they did all that stuff that I said. I don't know.
That's a really fun idea. I like that a lot.
I like that it's fun. I don't know how functional it is. Definitely fun. But yeah, hopefully
at the very
helps.
least they could find their corpse. It's like, well, where'd you die? And they could find their old character's body.
Yeah. All right. So does that mean it's time to move on?
I think it might be.
Oh no. Then that means it's time for Loot Table or Brute Fable.
Oh man. All right.
Do you even know what that is?
I'm too handsome to know what things are.
It's a segment where we make shit up randomly based on randomness.
All right. Well, you
more
go,
or less.
I think you go first.
Yep.
Here's the D6. Roll it on the surface of this mysterious box that we haven't opened.
Who's going first?
You're going first.
Oh shit. Well, then let me roll. I got a 3.
All right.
That's arms and armor.
Ooh. Well, you drew the 8 of Pentacles.
Fuck.
And look at it. It's like a hammer and anvil, so perfect for this. This card stresses the importance of hard work and diligence in accomplishing your goals. It indicates the time to buckle down, study, achieve new skills, all in the name of being able to change your circumstances. Represents education, apprenticeship, and achievement. The 8 of Pentacles.
All right, so this is what is what a crucible does?
Yeah.
What is that called? It's like true. I mean, I guess like the hammer. How about the hammer of Crucibles? Okay, so it's a war hammer called the Hammer of Crucibles, and what it does is it lets you, when you're holding it, you can heat your body up really hot, and then if you hit your body with the hammer, you can change its shape, but it hurts really, really bad, and you take subdual damage from the hammer, but it rechanges the shape of your body.
Okay.
And it takes a lot of dedication. Like, it takes months. Like, you got to spend several nights just working on your elbow or something. So it takes a lot of hard work and training with the hammer, but you can change the shape of your body. You could like be a weird, like, it's like if Mr. Fantastic had to take 3 years.
I like this. It feels like this would be a good thing to find somebody who had done this.
Oh yeah, or like
rather than like
a society of people that have like become this weird aberrant group of like mutants also almost.
Yeah, they're like Incident in Amigara Flats or whatever, where they're like coming out all DDR.
Yeah.
That guy was just talking about how he was going to be really good at DDR.
Oh yeah.
Because he had the long legs now.
he knew. He was seeking glory.
Play that. I'm going to S rank it.
We're referencing horror manga.
It's in the description.
Probably was the precursor to Slender Man, if I had to wager a guess.
Maybe.
The Hammer of Crucibles.
All right. It's my turn. I got a 6.
That's a magic.
Oh, yeah. It's the 9 of Cups, baby. Comfort, emotional stability, and luxury. An environment of luxury and emotional stability where all available comforts await you. Indulging in all the joys that life has to offer you is signaled by this card, though at times there's a sense of smugness that comes from taking your situation for granted. Okay, I'm going to call this... Okay, it's a spell. So there's a lot of these. There's like you can make like a little hut or like a big... What are the? Who's the guy?
Leomund, generally.
Oh, yeah, Leomund.
Leomund's tiny hut, Leomund's magnificent feast and such.
Yeah, the Leomund's castle or whatever. Right. Like, it's like the spell that lets you make... They did this on the Adventure Zone. It's Pocket Spa. It's like this, basically, but it's like a whole... It's like a nice place. I'm going to say it's a pocket universe, but you are inside... It is in your own pocket. And so it's a pair of jeans that have a pocket universe.
Hell yeah.
That is, it smells like denim and it's dark. And when you put things in it, they shrink down and you can go into it yourself and don't worry about how you're doing it. Nobody, you go into your own pocket and it's about I don't know, sort of like a port. What's the thing? It's like a bag of holding, but you can breathe in there and it's in your own jeans.
Yeah.
So if you were to like wash your jeans without meaning to, they would be destroyed. You would ruin all your shit.
That's how the Great Flood happened.
Yep.
From the Bible. From
just like
Earth.
It's like a closet, basically. It's a pocket universe.
I'm into it. There was this much maligned race of fantasy creatures called the Kender,
Backpocket universe. That's what it's called. It's
Backpocket universe.
Yeah.
I like that.
Sorry, the Kinder?
The Kender, which were much maligned because they were basically like gnomes, if gnomes were like Mary Sue's or whatever. They're like, everyone loves the Kender because everyone loves the Kender, and they love to make mischief and play jokes on people and steal things from people, and everyone loves it. And like it did make sense because like that was their big thing, is that they loved just stealing everything from everybody and no one minded at all. And but they lived in, like, they potentially came from a world or a city that was a city within a bag of holding. And so it's like if you'd lose your stuff, it might find its way to this Kender city that is accessible in a bag of holding somewhere.
Sort of like Bill Mardigan's.
Yeah, that's what inspired it.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking hack.
What? Oh, yeah, but pants that are a universe, same thing, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's just one room.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I think it's cool. It was Backpocket.
The Backpocket universe.
Backpocket universe.
Yeah.
But not to be confused with Kender, because Kender suck ass and everyone hates them.
I just learned about them and I feel like I've always hated them.
That's why they don't exist anymore, presumably. I don't even know. I think they're in 3rd edition.
Kinder
maybe
is
2nd edition?
Kinder is the verb. Kindid is what happened. They're done now.
Oh, damn.
All right.
Ken Dunn. Anyway, you want to go to a break?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
Away.
Has this ever happened to you?
What?
You don't have to go to the bathroom now, but you know you're going to need to in about 20 minutes.
Oh, wait. Yeah, this has happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a wizard from Hogwarts who
no.
never used plumbing and who only just shit wherever they are and magic it away.
Where they stand
Yeah.
is the worst part because, we are talking about.
Nope.
Okay.
So that always happens to me.
Yeah. So you have to poop, but you don't have to yet, but you know you're going to have to in about 20 minutes.
Right.
That's
happening right now.
It's called the bathroom of tomorrow.
Whoa.
It is a magical porta potty.
It's glorious.
It's a portal potty, actually.
Oh,
portal potty, the bathroom of tomorrow. Stepping into it takes you 20 minutes into the future of your own body that allows you to go to the bathroom at a good time for you.
Portal potty.
Portal potty, the bathroom of the tomorrow, like I said.
Step into a tomorrow where you do have to use the bathroom instead of will have to use the bathroom.
Don't be ruled by your biological BM clock. You set the time. Okay.
Think about this. Think about this use case scenario. I'm a wizard from Hogwarts.
Yeah.
I would otherwise drop trowel where I'm standing.
It did not say they dropped trowel. It just said they would use the bathroom wherever they're standing.
I would just do it in my pants. And no, so I would identify that within the next 20 or 30 minutes, I'd have to stand, take a firm stance, drop into my trousers, and then magic it away. But what I could instead do is step into a portal where I could then not drop my trousers, drop into my trousers, and then do it away, eliminating that whole 20 minutes of existence.
Talk about a waste of time.
No. Think about all the time I could save.
Biological waste of time.
20 minutes at a time. Do you know how many? I go to the bathroom like 2 or 3 times a day. I could save an hour every day. And think about what I could do with that time.
You could.
It'll be gone.
You could play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, you could stack it up. Oh, boy. This seems like what I need in my routine yesterday.
You did. And you had it. But you skipped ahead.
Oh, no. And now I do.
Future poop.
Today. Tomorrow's poop today.
Portal potty, the bathroom of tomorrow.
Today.
All right.
Use the promo code Goblin Flakes. Oh, yeah. We're back.
Sure did enjoy that suite of products.
Oh, man. You know I did as well. I love all the sweets, all the products.
And the sponsorships.
And all the companies that make them with us.
Yeah. All right.
We just love being involved. We can't get enough.
It's time for answer a question, I think.
Oh, yeah. You know it is.
All right. So let's see. Oh, here we go. Love the show. It really gets my Tuesday started right.
Oh,
right.
shit.
Do you have any thoughts on how to stop your own self from causing spectacle creep? It's not my players, it's me. For example, a few months ago, I DM'd a City Guards one-shot for some friends. The premise was trouble at the local fried chicken festival. A crazy chicken cult wanted to usher in the apocalypse, and so they let all the chickens go. The PCs were supposed to run around the city catching escaped chickens. Before long, that grew into PCs casting chicken whirlwinds to funnel them into bags, and then chicken storms were the next challenge, and then chicken hurricane descended on Fantasy Charleston. They ultimately avoided the apocalypse, but there was never supposed to even be a real apocalypse on the table. It just seemed like so much fun when the time came, and it seemed like such a good idea. So how do you riff on the player's choices, but not keep going to the point where you need level 3 chicken chasers to single-handedly stop the end of Feathery Earth? Thanks, DM Dummy from Durham. It sounds like everything went fine.
So, what gall? Honestly, how dare you come into my house?
Yeah.
This is
You're
like
so adversarial.
We should just title this episode #humble fucking brag. You know what I'm saying? No, but everyone had fun.
Yeah. And
why would you want to avoid that in the future?
Yeah. And it's a one shot. So you're fine, really.
Right.
Because like
spectacle creep has a boundary.
Yeah. That's the great thing about one shots is like, you don't have to worry about going off the rails as long as you can keep up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this isn't a thing where you're like, oh, how am I going to top this next week? You don't have to. It's a one shot.
Also, so okay, let's call that layer solved. Peel back another layer. The solution is truly you identified a problem with your own behavior, so now change your behavior, right?
Yeah, but honestly, I don't see this as a problem.
No, but let's pretend that it is because he's posing as one.
Okay.
How do you avoid spectacle creep? You're the person saying that it's something that you're doing, so you know it's a problem. So change the behavior. Like I don't, you know, you how do
I guess the worry.
you know
I guess the worry
it?
here is like, how do I yes and my players without going into somewhere too far?
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's identified that it's a problem and knows he wants to solve it, but he wants a path to that.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I guess it would be helpful to know that happened then, because it sounded like he was the one who had a crazy chicken cult trying to bring an apocalypse.
Apocalypse. I just want to be clear.
Thank you. And so, I mean, maybe that was something that came from the yes-anding of the player, but that just seemed like that was part of the intention. So I don't know.
Yeah, if you put that on the table, like you put a crazy chicken cult on the mantelpiece, that's got to fire by the third act, my man.
But that's what I mean. It's like, so if you don't want the result, it seems pretty straightforward to change the behaviors that created it. I don't know.
Yeah, your reagents reacted alchemically.
Oh, yeah.
In a pretty pleasing way, it seems.
Well, that's the main thing, is that if it's fun, it doesn't really... I mean, that's what I like about D&D. I guess I don't have as deep narrative and like world-building experiences as other groups or whatever who don't engage on that, but I have a lot of fun doing stuff like that, so I don't know that I'd want to discourage it if people are digging it.
Having fun is the sort of the name of the game.
I thought it was Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, sorry.
This is a good joke. What a good
fun
joke.
Is the nature of the game.
What a good joke I did.
The aim of the game.
Let me know how good that joke was.
Yes, please at Spencer. At the Sixler.
No. Leave us an iTunes review and give us a star ranking based entirely on the quality of that joke.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens. You know what? I'm going to read some of our positive iTunes reviews to Spencer.
Hell yeah. You know what I'm going to do?
Eat glass because you would prefer doing that.
Our next segment, Gamestorming.
Oh, yay. What game are we storming?
I don't know. What game should we storm? Have you ever played Metal Slug?
Yeah.
That's a game.
Wait, I'm thinking of Metal Slimes from Dragon Quest.
Arcade game, generally.
Oh, yeah, Metal Slug. It's the cel-shaded, hyper-violent thing.
Yeah.
You're sort of like an American commando in a pseudo.
You're one of 4 American-esque commandos in an American-esque conflict.
Sort of a Central Asian usually is where it starts.
There's a German faction, and then there's like a Arabian kind of faction, and then there's like aliens and stuff.
Yeah, stuff sometimes you're fighting mummies.
Yeah, mummies curse. I don't know. Do you want to do that? So, yeah,
sure.
Metal Slug is a shooting game. You get power-ups. You get hit once you die, kind of like Contra. You feed coins in to get extra lives.
Yeah.
Limited weapon upgrades, bosses, weak spots flashing.
It turns on sort of the spectacle of the visuals a lot, I think. Because it's not a particularly fun game, if I recall.
Sure.
It's one of those where, like, as soon as it came out on I played it on the Switch recently, like one of them, and it was one where you just hit start to keep continuing.
Yeah,
and when you
an
play
arcade game,
when you play arcade games on consoles where they have not artificially limited your continues, and you can just keep continuing,
right?
You find out that those games are pretty short and often not super deep.
Well, apparently one of the pure ways that like real purists and hardcore gamers play those is they only do 1/4/1 life. And then it's so in that sense, it's kind of like a roguelike, but that seems crazy too.
Yeah, that seems like you're operating at cross purposes to their intent, which is to get it. Yeah, that just seems like a recipe for frustration because those games are designed to be sort of unfair or at least too heavily discouraged. Because like initially arcade games were built around the concept of let's attract somebody to play this. So you got stuff like Asteroids, you got stuff like Sinistar. But if you're good enough at Sinistar, you can play for like 45 minutes.
Sure.
You can really just play forever on 1/4.
Right.
So that's like when you play. That's why the arcade version of like Gauntlet Legends and Dark Legacy, your health is going down constantly. When you play Gauntlet Dark Legacy in the arcade, your health is draining.
See, I always thought that was bullshit because it's like, well, if I'm not losing, why can't I just keep playing?
Yeah, and
I'm not getting hurt.
Because those machines cost like $1,000, like a few $1,000s.
They make their money back.
Yeah, they got to make their money back from you, the chump.
No, I mean they did already.
Yeah, they do because of that. But
no, they would have made their money back.
But if you're all right, well, whatever. Yeah,
I promise.
They got to make their money back quick.
Yeah, otherwise it wouldn't be a business that exists.
Yeah, and it's not anymore.
Yeah.
Although they're opening an arcade at the Burbank Town Center.
Damn. Well, hopefully that answers. No, we're Gamestorming right now.
Right.
Oh no.
Gauntlet.
What about the mummies?
How about Gauntlet instead?
Okay. You clearly hate Metal Slug.
Okay, fine. Metal Slug.
Well, no, you hate it.
I do kind of hate it. Okay, the tank. You can get in the tank.
Okay.
It's a mount.
I was saying we should do a different game because you hate Metal Slug.
I sort of do.
Right. That's why I'm saying we should do a different game.
Let's do Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Okay. You could do the monster generators. Those are fun.
Isn't Gauntlet just D&D?
Sort of.
Monster generators is good though because they had different sizes, right?
Yeah, so in Gauntlet, at least in the one I played, the one where it was like, Red Wizard is about to die.
Right, yeah.
Like that one, when it was specifically... Oh, it's the one that Pexus the Muscle Wizard came.
Yeah.
There were these, like, the monsters would come out of these generators that were like... they might be stylistically presented as like a thing in a hillside or like a pit in the ground or a magic portal.
Yeah.
But as you big monsters would come out of them, as you damaged, they were different sizes, and as you damaged them, they got smaller, and smaller monsters came out, which was
fun. That was a cool thing.
But that's the thing that you could have minions, like one-hit minions, popping out of who are attacking your players, so that they would want to prioritize stopping the generator. Like it could be just steam methods pouring out of a cauldron or something like that.
But so it would start with like a wave, and then you'd fight through maybe a wave, and then you'd see the generator, and it would churn out another wave, and so you'd have to now be fighting another wave to get to the generators, and then
and your attacks, if they were like distance attacks, could go through like a few monsters at once. It was satisfying in the way that like Dynasty Warriors is,
right? Where
you feel like you're like this like demigoddess figure cutting a swath through a battlefield. Sort of when Kingdom Hearts works well, it works the same.
Yeah, I think that feels like it's better for like higher power party, like someone that can take a lot of weakling kind of like goblin hits without being in danger of just getting murdered. Because if you're at that level, then you can kind of have it be stakesy, where it's like, oh, maybe these monsters will break through and cause problems, but won't immediately murder me. But at the same time, I can make the choice to either stem off these tides or force through and kind of get towards the generators.
I would also say have all the monsters take all their attacks at once, rather than 9 different turns.
Yeah,
this goblin does this. This goblin does that.
I think in 5e that's what they recommend these days, is all the same kind of monsters go at the same initiative count, which I always did, but I don't think used to be the rules until recently.
That's a good thing about 5e. They codified a lot of good house rules.
Yeah, that's what my favorite part about it is. It just works the way I always kind of made it work anyway.
Advantage, disadvantage.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
It's the good stuff, but I like that. Also, let's just say there's a chest that has death in it. That's a cool Gauntlet trope.
Yeah, it's death comes out and he drains your health, but it drains.
Oh.
I'm like a child.
You're sick. It's hard to enunciate.
But also, if you had a halo item that you had tucked away, or also if you had beaten the game and had a permanent halo, when death came out, you would drain his health. And man, that was satisfying.
What?
Yeah.
That's cool.
If he had been because it's like the worst thing, but then now you are benefiting instead.
Yeah.
So maybe do that.
Man, okay. So I like that. I like both those things, and I would say it's hard to, other than items that you can find that do a lot of damage to a end boss monster. I think that's a cool Gauntlet trope to use in D&D. I've done that a lot.
There was a thing where the bosses would be difficult,
like an ice dragon.
Yeah,
or something.
But if you went to the next world before you beat the boss of the one you were in, you could find a weapon
like an ice spear or something
that would take away one of the chimera's heads, or freeze the fire dragon.
Yeah,
or
like take
whatever.
half his health down or some shit.
Yeah, so that was always fun.
Yeah, to reward people who are like really getting into it. I think that's a cool trope. I just want to say that like this in Golden Axe, I guess, it just really fucked with me because potions, like they do damage.
Yeah.
And I was like, potions heal.
Yeah.
That's what potions do. You drink a potion and it heals you. And the idea that you could do a potion for anything other than healing, it always fucked with me. And so I'd always use a potion and it would like do an AoE or whatever. And I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I'm trying
I
to
know
heal.
what you mean. Yeah, it seems like there were alchemical bombs,
Right.
sort of.
Yeah.
And but we had been trained. Another thing I really liked from Gauntlet that I think could be adapted is shit. I had something.
Was it those airships that you fight on that one time?
That part is cool. That's a cool area.
I like that area.
I
All
guess
the different characters, the hub world.
Give me a second. I'm scanning back in my head. Yeah. I like that. Going the weapons thing. That sort of reminds me of that's basically the Rise of Tiamat. That sort of, and the Horde of the Dragon Queen together. The whole deal is it's preparing for this final encounter with Tiamat. And when you actually fight Tiamat, it's, the base Tiamat fight is unwinnable.
Right.
Basically. Because its challenge rating is way too hard.
Dragon
for where
God.
You are. But you are just weakening it based on how, like, it's like if they've done this, then take away this much health.
What does that do? What are the things they do? Like thwarting various cults or something?
Yeah, like getting the masks of the different cult leaders and like, preventing it from having this gold or whatever.
Right.
It's like, or did they get this weapon that drains this? And it each one has a specific effect that is applied to Tiamat.
Yeah.
So based on how much they've done, and did they save this group of people, keep this group from being sacrificed? And and there are direct mechanical applications that have weakened Tiamat in a way that balances the fight. And even with all those weaknesses applied, it's still a tough fight.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's the final fight of a camp. It's
The
the end
Dragon
boss
God.
of 2 books. You're level 15 at this point.
Yeah.
Wild stuff.
That's awesome, though. I mean, that I think is a really cool technique. Also, just the idea of like bringing to bear various actions in some sort of obvious or some sort of defined result seems like a cool concept to use in D&D.
I agree.
I don't know. Well, that's that game stormed.
Yeah.
That about does it for game storming. Do you want to do the last question or just roll into animals?
Let's roll into Amlinals, I think.
Oh, yeah. Let's think of, do you have a monster that you've thought of?
We've done mimics, right?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just looking at this box.
We could do mimics again because the mimic we did was O'Houlihan, the living pub, which isn't very mimic-like.
Okay, well, how about a box that is...
So mimics are, they're shapeshifters that resemble furniture. They have big mouths and they have adhesives. So if you touch it, you get stuck to it and then they eat your head.
It's often a treasure chest. Yeah?
Usually a treasure chest. Sometimes they can be stuff like a bed. But yeah, usually a treasure chest because treasure chests have high value associated with them and you'd want to touch one. So you get stuck to it.
Let's see. Okay, so it says treasure chest.
But you wanted to make it a box?
Well, I was just looking at this box that's on the
but
table
where are
in
you
front of
going
us.
with that?
I was just excited about this box.
Just go with that.
Okay. Well, no, I it just made me think of mimics.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, okay. You know what? It's a box that the players receive in the mail.
Okay.
And within is, it's a quest hook.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a very generic quest.
Right.
That has, it's like, come to explore this dungeon. That's blah, blah, blah. But it turns, and then they explore the dungeon, and then it turns out that the entire, there's the dungeon isn't. So I guess I do this a lot where I want the thing to be an organism.
Sure. Dungeon Man is something from what? Is it Dragon or Earthbound? Yeah.
Yeah. He made a dungeon that is a person that is like, it's like got it's full of signs telling you where to go because he's trying to be helpful.
That's nice of him.
Yeah, and then it also transports you somewhere. It's good games. I got to play all those games.
Oh yeah.
But the
Mother 3.
I never played Mother 1.
I never played it either. Mother 1 sucked actually.
Yeah, but I want to like get the whole story.
But it's very bad.
But
I've tried to play it.
There's mods that make
man.
it like very playable, so you can just get the story because apparently that's still good.
Yeah, not in the beginning. I bet it picks up bit after that.
Probably. Okay, so
it's tedious in the beginning. I mean, all RPGs were horrible back then.
Yeah, it's true. Although the whole thing in Earthbound of like enemies run away from you once you're stronger than them and you can just skip the fight.
Yeah.
That was smart and not done by many people for a while. Okay, so it's so you get to the end of the dungeon and you basically, what I want is that it is just an organism that produces these boxes and sends them out, just like basically spam. Like it's basically you've been like fished into like pH fished.
Yeah,
but not like the band. Into coming to this dungeon to be digested.
Sure. So the dungeon digests you.
Yeah.
And it sends out boxes.
Yeah.
It's not very much like a mimic, but I like it.
I guess it's like a large scale mimic. It's like instead of the reward, the entire dungeon is the mimic. Everything about it is just an enticing trap that tries to eat you.
Right.
Like all of it. Like it's like the box or like maybe a letter. I guess it doesn't need to be a box.
No, the box, it's all fine. I mean, I like the box the best, honestly, because it reminds me of Loot Crate.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's like a box with like gems and like enticing treasures. And like,
yeah,
it's like if you want more.
Shipped from JW Fairweather Associates, purveyors of fine things. If you'd like, to see more or something. I don't know. It's just something
Consider this a down payment on behalf of our associates, more of this. But then like the dungeon gets those back because you probably have them on your person when you come into the dungeon.
Right.
Or, or you've spent them on expensive things and then it sends those out.
Yeah.
It sends like it sends out the gear to other adventurers to entice them.
That's how it gets it. Yeah.
It like takes them from you. And so it's all like a closed loop.
I think it should have, it has like a system that reorganizes and sorts the loot back into the little boxes so it keeps like a surplus and not a deficit,
Yeah, exactly. And like you find this, what you find in the dungeon would be like the like room where this is happening automagically, I guess. So
in terms of just logic bump or whatever, my main problem is that once you're inside the dungeon, why aren't you already digested? Why do you have to get to the very because if it is a mimic, then you enter the front door and it chomps down and you're dead. What makes it so that it's each trap and hazard is a mimic and not the entirety, because that's
the same way that like things aren't digested the second they're put in your mouth.
But like they are murdered. Like you get you put if I ate a fly, I'd kill the fly and then it wouldn't be digested, but it would be dead by the time it went into my stomach, because if it wasn't, then it could murder my stomach.
So like that's sort of the process, right? So like the process is the dungeon wears you down. Because like by the time it gets to its actual digestive process, it doesn't want to just eat you. So you're fighting through these traps and you think it's like regular traps, but it's actually like biological traps that is like the same way when you chew on something, that chews it up a little bit, that grinds it up a little bit, and your saliva wears it down a little bit and your esophagus crushes it. So these would be the equivalents of all the traps that are gradually reducing your health.
But when you eat live bugs, you bite their heads off.
Why bugs?
Because those are living creatures.
Okay.
Most living things that we eat are first killed.
Yeah.
To protect our bodies.
Well, we're not magical giant dungeons.
Right. But no, I just do you understand what I'm saying though?
Yeah, but I'm saying it would have to, yeah.
Like if you were a magical dungeon, you would send out boxes to get people to come inside of you. But then why once they're inside of you, why is that not the done deal? Like we could solve that logic problem.
Well, maybe the danger is that they could then, if you slam the door, then they blast through the door with their eldritch powers or magical sword. Like you got to wear them down a little bit before you. Because it's passive. Because the whole dungeon, there's nothing.
But mimics aren't passive. Mimics are they're creatures. They're monsters. They eat you.
Yeah, and maybe there's a mimic at the core.
See,
that maybe it's a giant treasure chest at the core.
I feel like it's more compelling if instead of a mimic, it's like an entire colony of mimics that's created this corporation.
Okay, that's way better.
And so every trap is a mimic. Like if it's a pit trap, that's a mimic that's on the ground that's being a mimic pit trap, so that if you fall in the pit, it eats you.
Okay, I like
and
this.
so then then the door can be a mimic, but the door won't eat everybody because then the rest of the mimics won't get to eat,
I like this.
And then at the very end, that's he's maybe like a crown.
Yeah.
And but he's like, he figured the plan
It's a treasure
out.
chest with a crown on it.
Yeah. And so it was his idea, and that's why he's at the very end pulling all the strings, and he has like the piles of treasure because he's like the master pulling the master
I
manipulator.
like this a lot.
Just because, again, like because if it was just a giant, like the trope of like, oh, it's just a monster's mouth, and you walk into it, it would just close its mouth, and then it would be a nightmare to like you'd have to stab it or light a fire in its stomach.
Like this, yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
No, and maybe the boxes that are sent out are like the husks of mimics as they molt. Like so, like I like a retroactive grossness of these things that are sending out are just like. I wanted them to be biological in some way.
That's the thing is that it could be a life cycle that these mimics like have, and so like they start out as like little like bread boxes, and then they turn into like crates, and then when they shed their crate form, then they actually are mimicking things or something. Like then they're actually an object of some sort.
This is really good. I like this a lot.
And then they can have a life cycle that so I don't know. It just reminds me whatever, I don't know.
So all this talk about opening boxes.
Oh God.
It's really gotten me in the mood.
That was Animals. And now let's open a mimic. Let's loot a mimic of our own.
All right, we got a box.
God, I hate myself. We got a box sent to us by a random hero on the Discord and Twitter.
Oh
God.
Wow. Okay.
These are wrapped. I'm gonna go for the letter.
What's it say?
It says, "Thanks for making great shit" in large font. Cohen and Spencer, my husband and I are longtime GM Just Wanna BMs that love the podcast. The Discord is one of my favorite haunts now, and the content as well as community there are awesome. Thank you guys so much for putting this shit together. We hope you enjoy the silly gifts and candy box. Happy holidays, most random hero. Oh, I think I said a random hero. It's most random hero. Anyway, what do we got? Do you want to open this stuff? Make sure to do it close to the mic.
Okay. There's a box that says to Cohen. There's a box that says to Spencer.
Oh, God.
And I think there's a box to Spencer and Cohen.
Oh, no. I guess we'll have to fight. My hands are stuck to the lid of this package.
Oh,
no. Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
I'm so glad
most
it happened
random
to you.
hero.
I'm glad it happened to you instead of me. All right, let's open these treasures.
Open yours first.
I'm gonna.
And it's this lovely seafoam dinosaur wrapping paper. I actually really like this wrapping paper.
It is. I normally save wrapping paper.
Where'd you get this wrapping paper?
We sure are
I like it.
committing to just that. Yeah, no. Plus
Hashtag curse of scary if you know where the wrapping paper was from.
so kind. This
So-
has never happened to me before.
Cohen's opened a white box, maybe the size of a hat. It's not the size of a hat box. It's the size of a hat.
Yeah. And there's some styrofoam.
I'm opening a box as well. Inside the first layer of cardboard, we have revealed a shell of foam, styrofoam.
Whoa, what is this?
He's opening.
Oh my God.
He's exuberant.
Holy shit.
He's exhilarated.
Really cool.
I see a dragon.
It's a black dragon with like ruby eyes, and it's like I'm being it's for toilet paper. It's a toilet paper roll.
Wait a second.
It's like a dragon holding a toilet paper roll.
It's a dragon, a black dragon, a red eyes black dragon toilet paper roll holder. This will go down a treat.
So absurd.
See, here's the
I
thing.
love this so much.
I
I
could keep
don't
this-
have a good one. I don't have a good toilet paper roll in my bathroom.
If you keep it in my own house, it'll be great, but I don't have guests over. But if I install it at the workplace toilet, everyone might enjoy it for years to come. What will I do? Who can say?
I know what I'm doing because I work at a place where that would not go over a treat. I'm
That makes
so
sense.
excited.
Like
This
a
is
real
such
business, you
yeah,
mean?
like a yeah. And there's
I could see how that might cause problems.
there's a box for both of us. Should we open that one?
I
too?
kind of maybe want to find where this person bought these
it's-
and then just buy a bunch so I can
it
retrofit
seems it's
every
from-
bathroom.
World of Wonder, DWK Corporation, Home Decor and Accessories. And we're going to be posting pics of these online.
I hope they're a legitimate company with good politics.
Yep. We're certainly going to find that out before we post.
I'm sure you'll let us know.
All right. Should we open this last one?
No, you
together?
go for
Okay.
it. Cohen's opening the last box, which is maybe the size of a desk calendar. Inside is a red cardboard box. I can't see any label. Maybe that's the bottom side of it.
Oh, because I'm opening it like a fool might.
And I'm recalling the letter, and they indicated it might be a box of chocolate or candy, if I recall.
Let's see. Oh,
these are
2
pineapple
bags of
wraps.
candy. One for each of us, and there's nerds.
Pineapple-shaped bags of candy.
What a nice gift.
Thank you so much, most random hero.
I can't wait to consume this candy, and then use this toilet paper roll holder.
So normally we do fail mail, but this is more like a win mail.
It's a success mail.
A success mail. A we did it mail.
No one can say that we didn't podcast.
A sale mail.
What a treat.
White mail.
No.
Bail mail.
I love this.
Hail mail.
I love this, and it is going. Oh man.
I can't think of a good pun. Well, thanks so much. I think we should cut it off here, huh?
Yeah.
mastermanualpod@gmail.com, and on all the socials. We have a Discord. What else?
I get it. Thanks for making great shit.
Oh, there's a pun. Oh, no. Cohen loves it.
Yep.
He can't get enough. Do you have any last thoughts?
Just want to BMs. Get it?
We're about to want to BMs. I am want to BM.
Yeah.
If only I had a portal toilet.
If only you had it.
Portal potty.
The bathroom of tomorrow.
Today.
Looks like we booked it again. Bye.